Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Flight, and this movie is directed by Robert Zemeckis and stars Denzel Washington, and I've never seen this movie before in its entirety. I have seen the one scene where, you see, the plane crash. Minor spoilers-ish, kind of, that's what the movie's kind of about, and it happens within the first, 20-30 minutes of the movie. And when it does happen, it's a highlight for sure. And that's one thing that I really like about the movie. And anything that happens in the first half of the movie, for me personally, was the best stuff in the movie. I like the characters and what it was kind of setting up and where the story was going. And despite this crash happening, they literally say somebody has to pay. And it's not about money. It's about time in prison or maybe possibly a life sentence. And while those elements are going on, there are also some things that I found to be kind of odd. Those elements are going on in the background, but it's mostly focused on our main character with alcohol, and he's an alcoholic, and he meets this one girl in a hospital, and he starts spending some time with her, and he begins to like her, and I kind of liked their relationship and what the movie did, kind of. Except once we got into the second half, because at that point, I was just checked out. I was like, what are we doing at this point? It's just stretched out, and it doesn't need to be going on for this long. And it just kind of lost me emotionally, and I was just wanting it to end, and I got nothing out of the second half of the movie. But the first half I think is good, and that first half for me is solid, and anything that would annoy me in any other movie was handled very well. The drama handled well. It didn't feel forced. It felt like I was watching real people. Then we get into the second half, and it just becomes kind of cheesy and just ridiculous and stupid, and I just can't stand it. It loses this mature tone that it was setting up, and it just pays off with something just completely cheesy, and I just can't stand it. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth, and the ending for me, while I get what they were going for, it was just unsatisfying. And as much as I like the relationship between Denzel Washington and the main girl, it is kind of pointless in the movie. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's there, but I didn't really get anything from it by the end of the film that would have affected me emotionally. It just happened, and by the end of it, it just felt like a big waste of time. But I do want to get back to positives and talking about the plane crash scene. I think that's easily my favorite scene in the movie, and it's what I'm going to remember this movie for. And I do want to mention that I've seen that scene before on YouTube, and the only difference is that they played the No Time for Caution from Inception because people were just doing that at a certain point in time. They did that with this movie. They did that with what was it? Scully, the Tom Hanks movie. Clint Eastwood directed it. And, I've seen that, and yeah. And I was just reminded of that while watching the movie. It didn't ruin my experience. I'm just saying that I've seen it before. It was just kind of funny what they did with that. This movie wasn't painful to sit through. It was just kind of boring in the second half and just repetitive and unspecial. And like I said, the best part of the movie is the first half. And if I'm going to rewatch this movie, I'll just watch the first half of the movie, and then when I'm starting to get tired of it, I'll just shut it off. Once we get, I don't know, halfway through it, maybe a little bit more. But I would never rewatch the second half of the movie because it just doesn't work for me. And it's not like the first half of the movie is amazing 10 out of 10. It's just solid, whereas the second half is just really cheesy and doesn't really complement the film, unfortunately. But In the end, would I say it's a terrible movie? No. Would I say it's a bad movie? No. Is it a good movie? No. Is it okay? Yes. It's okay, but it's just upsetting that this could have been much better. If it just stayed consistent throughout the entire film, I would have liked it, but that's not the movie that we got. So, if you ever come across this movie, I guess it's worth one watch, but I don't think it's anything special. It's nothing that I'm running back to seeing again, and that's about all I have to say about it. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Flight a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Flight, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Glass Castle. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.